friends of Solar Body Alchemy. How are you? It's Valentina from Dublin.
And it's Kate from England.
Happy Halloween! It's been a long day for me and Kate because we've been in training all day, but we couldn't miss today. It's actually quite a special night for various reasons that Kate just kindly explained to me. So we have a full moon, and Kate, if you want to say more, a little bit more about that.
It's a full moon. It's Scorpio, Sun, Taurus, Moon, conjunct Uranus. And it's Halloween, just to throw that in there. And full moon. That's when a moon happens twice in 1 month, a full moon twice in 1 month.
Yeah.
So the energy of the moment is very much, and Scorpio is about what's hidden.
Mm-hmm.
It's the taboo, it's the secrets, it's sex, death, birth, rebirth, transformation. And Taurus is sensuality, it's our body, it's the five senses, it's the material, it's what's mine. Scorpio is about merging. Taurus is about, mine, my stuff, my things. And Uranus is the planet of transformation, radical change, shock value, and it's a catalyst. So we've got that energy on Halloween, which is where the veils are thinnest between the ideas of the living and the dead. Yeah. I should say the incarnate and the discarnate is a better way to put it. Those of us that are in physical bodies.
I actually love it.
No longer in physical bodies. Because none of us really know, right? None of us really know.
Yeah.
What's dead, what's alive, what's before, what's after, what's everything. So we're incarnate or discarnate. And tonight is a very, very specific energy, all combined, where really we've got an opportunity to communicate with our ancestors, both in a spiritual sense and in a genetic sense, because we are the lineage of everything that's lived before us. So even if you're talking, this isn't kind of past life conversation as something separate. This is past life or genetic memory, or a lot of this can get thrown into the same pot. And it doesn't really matter what you're tapping into, it's the felt sense. You don't have to be completely accurate and know where some of this stuff is coming from. Some of us have information about our history and some of us don't. But regardless, what we're tapping into tonight is our capacity to be tuned in to that which has been before the physical body that you're in now, the memories of your ancestors.
And I also like the fact that actually today we have the opportunity. I love actually the word that you use, the incarnate and disincarnate. I really, really resonate with that. But I also love the fact that actually today we have the unique opportunity to honor and celebrate this lineage. Because true, like we all know, there is much drama in every family, but also there is good in every family. We are at the end of a line, so we kind of inherit lots of bad, but also lots of good. And today it's actually the opportunity to celebrate this and to really kind of reflect a little bit of what are we using, what is good for us, what are not using, what doesn't serve us anymore. So I actually think, and Funny enough, you said before that actually Uranus is the planet of the shock. And I couldn't help but thinking how actually in UK, today probably you will know if you are entering a second lockdown or not, which is actually a shock into the daily life of everyone.
Yeah, I don't know who's advising Boris Johnson, but they're definitely not an astrologer. You just wouldn't choose today, would you? Tomorrow, yesterday, fine. Today, no.
Nah, not so much. Anyway. Okay. So, Kate, that's so interesting. So, what are you thinking of doing with us this evening?
Well, I think we'll make it a bit more practical because because it's not really meditative energy tonight. I mean, I myself have just been for a run as fast as I could go because the energy is electric. Mm-hmm. It's about Uranus is movement. It's quick, erratic movement, and it's not meditative energy. You know, Scorpio is penetrative, and Taurus is fixed. So we'll be a little bit more alert, I think.
Are they opposite? You know, Taurus and Scorpio, are they opposite? Oh, they interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the full moon is the sun and the moon in opposite signs.
Oh, wow.
They're on the opposing axis. And new moons are where you've got both signs, the sun and the moon in the same sign. So this is about the trick or treat, basically, the pros and cons of each sign.
Yeah.
And how they communicate or oppose each other. Yeah. And Halloween, unless you're a sort of a seasoned meditator, I don't really advise kind of going into a deep meditative state on Halloween because we're more psychically aware. So with this type of work, because we're working in a psychotherapeutical context, we're going to keep it fairly alert, so we can really feel into the subject. And if you want to deepen it over the next couple of days, then let that happen. But you know, full moons are really potent energies to work with.
Especially today, with the veil so thin.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And Uranus is unpredictable. So whatever you're doing today in a spiritual, psychic way, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
Okay.
We just don't know.
Okay. So let's get ready.
Because we've got these thinner veils tonight, we're going to have more capacity to tune into the things that don't really make sense. So what I'd like you to do is to get your pen and paper. And we're going to have a bit of a sort of creative, free associative writing. And I'd like you to think about both your father and your mother, regardless of whether or not you've met them, whether they raised you, whatever your relationship with them was or is, then just put them on two separate positions on the paper. So mum one side, dad the other side, just so you've got space around and you can flesh this out. And just have a look at those two words. Have a look at mother, father. And just for a moment, I'd like you to see if you can get a sense of your father. And it might be that if you've got a memory of him or if you've had him in your life, you can even change your physical position so you're kind of sitting a bit more like he would. And if you've never met your father, you can fantasize here about how you think a father, or where you come from, how would they be sitting? How would they be breathing? So see if you can start to get into the physical body. And you can close your eyes a little bit if you prefer for this. See if you can get into the physical sense of your father. And if you knew what he did for work, you might be able to feel that in your body, that sense of, you know, with a muscles strong, or if they were a writer, you might have more energy in your hands. You know, what did your father do for a living, or what does he do for a living? And you might also get a sense of some of the emotions that you know him to have. He might be quite an expressive or dominant man. Might be jolly, might be happy, might be quiet or shy. And again, this could also be the fantasy father, so just knowing what comes to mind if you don't have the father in your life. when you're ready, when you feel like your hand is ready to start writing, on the side of the paper that says Dad, I'd like you to start writing words down about what your dad's character's like, some of the things that he's good at, or some of the things that he's not good at, some of the things you like about him or dislike about him. And if he's absent, it might be that there's more. What do you feel you didn't get? What did you get instead? And just start to let the pen write itself. What are some of his qualities? Traits you think are good, or traits that you think are not so good? How was he as a man in your eyes? And as you're writing these things, I'd like you to see if you can get a sense of what his family were like, what his parents were like. And you might know that, you might have contact with those grandparents, or you might have had stories, or see if you can write down some of their characters, or some of the traits that they had. Whoever raised your father. You might know what they did for a living. Perhaps they were very private, perhaps you didn't know much about that side of the family, or they might have been very proud of their hardship or their achievements. Just letting your hand write now, anything that comes up about your dad's side of the family, any feelings, any thoughts, any judgments. Any feelings in your body. Oh, I connect with this side of the family, or oh, I feel so disconnected or uncomfortable. Whatever's there. Just let your hand write. And you can gradually start to bring that to a close. You can always come back to that later if your hand is still busy. We're going to move over to your mother's side. And in the same way that we kind of tuned into the sense of our fathers, just start to see if you can get a sense now of your mother. And it might be that you can change your position to sit how she would sit. She might have her shoulders up or shoulders back, or just see if you can let yourself feel into, if you were playing that mind game and you were trying to show someone what your mum looked like, getting into the physical shape of your mother now. And if you feel ready to, you can start to let your pen writing everything down that comes to mind about your mother, whether she was there or not there, the feelings you have about her. traits, her less good traits. And having a sense of your mother's age, so I'd like you to start to think about the era that she grew up in and the type of parenting that she would have had based on her gender and all sorts of things that may have had an impact on her character. And you can start to tap into the grandparent energy here as well. How did your grandparents raise your mother? Maybe you had a sense of them, maybe you've met them, maybe you've seen and felt that firsthand, or you might have heard stories. And again, if you've never met your mother, never met your grandparents on that side, just let your hand write. Trust your hand has some cellular memory of mother, of the matriarchal line. Just giving your hand a few more moments just to finish. And now what I'd like to invite you to do is to look at mother, father, all the things that you've written down, and see if you can get a sense of where are any of these things in me, in you? Which parts of mother, father have you brought in combination in your physical body? Or do you look at those things and think, wow, I'm something else entirely? And it might help just to start to make some little notes now. What have you, as you look at these mother, father qualities, what have you carried with you? Elements of your father, elements of your mother. And they can be positive, they can be negative, whatever your judgments are about them, just letting your hand write. What have I brought through this, the combination of mother and father? And I'd also like you to think about what is unique to you. What are you bringing that's completely circuit breaking, a catalyst to both of those bloodlines? What is uniquely you? And you might not even know yet. this might actually be a bit of a trick or treat moment. What is your legacy as you've tapped into your father's lineage, your mother's lineage, and now you're here in this moment, the combination of those two evolved bloodlines, looking at those traits and thinking, which ones am I carrying with me now? Which ones will I carry with me to the end of this incarnation? And if there's some on the paper that are missing, what will I bring into this carnation? What will be my legacy or my bloodline? And really let that question sit with you. You don't need to know now. What is my legacy?
This is such a good question, Kate.
Yeah, I'm really drawn to the clicking clock in the background there. I was just thinking, you're such a Capricorn. Don't ever make the mistake of asking a Capricorn what their legacy is. The clock's now going, come on. We're running out of time. Jungian moment. Cue grandfather time, Saturn that rules Capricorn. Expect the unexpected. Yeah, so Halloween, not only is it a time to connect to our ancestors, but energy goes both ways. So when we connect backwards, we automatically connect forwards, because time isn't linear in that sense, really. Time, past, present, future, it's all the same. It's all happening in the same moment, which is where it gets kind of a bit confusing, because we try to see things in clear, linear fashion. So today, we can go backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
And the only point of going backwards is to say, what's forwards?
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's a very useful exercise to go backwards, because we might not even be aware, but sometimes there are talents and energies that have always been in the family.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. Like, I was thinking when you said, what's uniquely mine? And I was kind of writing, I went abroad. But then I stopped myself, because actually it already happened in my family history that someone else left their own country, which brings us back to the idea of how actually nothing is really original. Something somewhere has already happened.
Yeah, but we're connected to the genetic code, aren't we?
Yes.
So that the ancestral theme stays with us. But how we choose to take the quality of that and use it is unique to us.
Absolutely.
So it helps to have a sense of where have we just come from, to know where are we heading, where's our legacy for this particular lifespan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some cycles we will repeat, because we've got that, like you say, skill and talent. And some things will repeat, it's not necessary anymore.
Yeah. Which brings us back actually to the concept of trick or treats.
Yes.
What do we need to work on in this lifetime? And let it go. Because after all, if if we have received certain talents, it's for a good reason. And in a way, actually, you were talking about it at the very beginning when you talked about incarnation and disincarnation. What's our purpose? What's our legacy in this incarnation?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're not just being tricked constantly and at the mercy of fate and all of these things that are out of our control. We do have free will.
We do.
And so, whereas the more aware you are of the patterns and the unconscious behaviors that we're playing out, the more you can say, whoa, not this time, not this life,
yeah, absolutely.
not this legacy.
Absolutely.
So,
what a wonderful, and actually I was also thinking that this is the perfect evening to work energetically on this particular topic, because we might get some guidance perhaps in the dreams, because the veil is so thin, from our ancestors.
Absolutely. And that's why I was sort of free associating, because when there's less density around, you can think more along those lines and connect to concepts which you wouldn't normally consider because we're too much in our logical brain.
Yeah. And this kind of work is very much in the gray area of our life, which is not logical. It's all about the feeling.
It is, because most of what we carry when we're in the womb, these memories are pre-verbal. We're only told stories by our parents. We've got some memory of our ancestors if we were lucky enough to have them in our lives before they passed. But we have got genetic memory of how they were. So we need to be in a bit more of a nebulous state to be in contact to those.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking that some even carry the name of the ancestors.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
When we talk about cellular memory, it's implied that there is a lot of memory in a name. And carrying this name.
Yeah, historically that was a huge thing, to carry the name of the family, or to bring shame on the name of the family, or we've all come from ancestors that are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. So there will be somewhere in your history something about your name, positive or negative, that could have been carried.
Absolutely. So wonderful.
Well, enjoy the rest of your spooky evening.
Enjoy. Have a good one, and we will talk to you again very soon. I will be publishing a post that usually goes on our Facebook page or in our meetup group. Anyway, we will let you know next time we are going to talk to you. So have a spooky evening, everyone, and we will see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.